In this presentation, I'll discuss the costs and benefits and different types of credit used by consumers. In its simplest form, credit can be described as the process used by an individual who wants to buy a product now, but pay for it later. Some cringe at the thought of using credit and compiling debt, but credit itself is neither good nor bad. It's how we use it that creates the impression on whether we love it or hate it, must have it or can't stand to use it. Installment credit is used by an individual who wants to borrow a large sum of money for a specific use. When repaying installment credit, individuals make equal payments, that is, they're the same from month to month. They're regularly scheduled on a set timeline, and interest is included in the payment. Examples include buying a home, buying an automobile, or buying furniture or appliances. The goal is to make a large purchase and pay for it over an extended period of time. Revolving credit is used by an individual who wants to borrow a sum of money but has not determined exactly how it will be used. With a revolving account, the lender will tell you how much you're able to borrow based on your credit history. Then you'll pay back the loan as you use it, usually in unequal amounts. The interest is charged on your unpaid balance. Then you can reuse any parts of the remaining balance as you see fit. Examples of revolving accounts would be credit cards and home equity loans. With a single payment credit agreement, an individual simply pays for an item with one payment. Examples include medical services, utilities for your home, or your cell phone bill. A consolidated loan is when an individual has multiple loans but wants to combine it into a single new loan. Many college students following graduation prefer to make one student loan payment instead of multiple ones. The advantages of using a consolidated loan include reducing your monthly payments, lowering your interest rates, and making repayments simpler. But there are disadvantages. It does make the repayment period longer, and it does typically increase your total interest paid. Many individuals like the advantage of being able to buy large, expensive items right away with a credit card. They also like the ability to be able to plan and feel safer should an emergency arise, and they like the convenience of using credit cards. It simplifies their life by not needing cash or checks, being able to consolidate bills, and always having a record of their purchases. Some common complaints of using credit include having to pay interest and additional fees, penalties that might later affect your credit score, feeling like they're more of an impulse buyer, and payments that reduce their current saving or spending plans. Using credit may lead to an increase in occurrences of identity theft or fraud. Having a buy now, pay later mentality may also lead to feeling overwhelmed by debt. And finally, if you can't make your payments, legal actions like garnishment and bankruptcy could be in your future. Garnishment is a legal action that gives the lender the ability to take either your property or your wages if you don't make your payments. And bankruptcy is the legal process used to declare your inability to repay your loans or your debts. Previously, I mentioned penalties as a disadvantage to using credit. Some examples of credit card penalties include late payments, over your credit limit fees, and using too much of your revolving credit at one time. We'll talk more about that later. While this calculation won't determine your interest paid, when using credit, your total payment is made up of the principal, or the cost of the item, and your interest, or what the lender is charging you for using their credit. As a guide, a good rule of thumb is known as the 20-10 rule. In this, the total amount borrowed should be less than 20% of your annual net income. And your monthly debt payment should be equal to or less than 10% of your monthly net income.